Thank you for joining the December 2022 PIHRA member orientation. We'll be starting in a minute or so. Just going to see if some more people can join us. Thank you so much. Hello there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the December 22 PIHRA orientation. I'm really glad to have you. We're going to be spending the next 60 minutes, so your lunchtime together. And some housekeeping. You probably noticed that when you entered, we are recording this. So we usually put these recordings up on YouTube. And so we have many months of orientations on YouTube. And the reason why is because we have special guests and, everything's a little different. We have different campaigns going on throughout the year. In addition, me or my colleague Elisette, you probably see her in the video titles. And if you don't, you'll see her soon. She or I will be distributing the slides from this presentation to all of you, along with some links to different things that we discussed. We're going to make this as interactive as possible, mostly through the chat or Q&A box. So please feel free to start networking now with us. You could put in your LinkedIn URL, tell us where you're coming from. I'm going to put in, I see there's a lot going on in the chat. I'm in Huntington Park, which is very close to downtown LA. So let me know where you're coming from, and we'll get started. So what are we going to do during the next 60 minutes? Well, we're in the welcome and general update phase right now. Then we want to do a poll, because this orientation is for all of you. I want to make sure that you walk away from this webinar with the information, suggestions, contacts that you need so that your PIHRA membership works for you. I know that membership right now during these times may be some money that you wanted to spend somewhere else. So I really, really appreciate that you have invested your time and money into PIHRA. And I want to make sure that this is a successful experience for you. So this is all about you. And in the poll, we're going to ask you for that #1 takeaway. But if you have additional things you want to walk away with, you can put in the chat. You could, my presentation, I have a lot to cover. So it usually covers pretty holistically what PIHRA offers and who PIHRA is. So you can always stop us. I want to make this interactive. So if you have a question or you want me to stop, put it in the chat. My colleagues here, my special guest, Patrick Guthrie, is with me, Elisette Sapian, who's my right hand in membership. They're going to be watching the chat. And I'm remote, so I'm going to mute myself for this siren. Okay, the siren's gone. So we're all been working remotely since the beginning of the pandemic. And so that's why you might hear some odd noises coming from my, I need to get better speakers apparently. I'm going to introduce you to Patrick Guthrie that I mentioned earlier. Who I mentioned earlier. He is the chair of PIHRA West Los Angeles. I'm really excited to have him with us today. We're going to talk about PIHRA overall. Who is PIHRA? Our volunteer officers and things like that. Then I'm going to get into some member benefits and the learning and networking component of your PIHRA membership. And then we'll just wrap this up. And I'm usually done in an hour. I try to make this 45 minutes, but I would always be later than that. So that's what the plan is, and let's get going. So the general update, kind of mentioned this in the agenda area. Our priority has been to keep us in our community, most importantly, our community healthy and safe during the pandemic. We're keeping track of CDC guidelines, World Health Association guidelines, the local guidelines. And so in March 2020, we went totally remote and virtual. So most of our programming, our large conferences were virtual. Now we're going into a hybrid mode. We have up to 3 webinars per month. And those are free for members. So we really did the best we can to provide our members with the information, tools, and resources that they needed during the pandemic. And I don't think it's quite over. I keep on hearing that this mask mandate, at least in LA County, might get back into play for the holidays because of the infection rate increasing. And then there's this whole financial uncertainty. We're hearing a lot of layoffs coming up. So HR has been at the forefront of that, and we get that. So we've been doing the best we can to provide you with the HR topics, learning, and resources, including the people resources to keep you in the know and just have you have the sounding board you need through these tough times. We're going to talk a little bit about some of our chapters have been meeting for a while now, pretty consistently, starting right around June 2021. Patrick's going to talk about some of the in-person events that his chapter is hosting. Burbank Glendale has been hosting some in-person events. PIHRA South Bay hosted a social yesterday. On the 13th, next week, PIHRA Burbank Glendale is having an in-person meeting. So they are meeting. But we are being very careful, and our chapter leaders are doing the best they can to keep people safe as well. Keep visiting the PIHRA calendar. That has the most up-to-date information about our chapter meetings and our webinars. That's where I would go if I was looking for where's a chapter meeting, where do I register, what topics are out there. So I know I always go to the PIHRA calendar. So that's where we are. I am really enthusiastic about 2023. 2022 has been an interesting year. So I hope you guys all join us for the upcoming year. There's a lot of opportunity there. So like I said, we want to do a poll. Elisette's going to launch this poll. And what is that #1 takeaway you are interested in receiving from this webinar? I'd love to have all 8 of you. There's 8 of you here. Please participate because I want to tailor where I focus on your responses. Okay, 7 out of 8 have responded. HR certification is a hot topic. Okay, great. Networking, great. Okay, we have 8 out of 8. PIHRA SHRM. So the relationship with PIHRA SHRM is another top one. And benefits. I think that's it. See, PIHRA SHRM and networking, great. Well, I'm going to cover a lot of these things already, but I will focus on HR certification, and we'll provide you with some follow-up then. We can stop sharing this. And thank you so much for letting me know what you're looking for today. So let's just do a couple introductions because I don't think I did that at the onset. So I'm here in the middle on this slide, Lily Arguello. I have an MBA. I just got, it feels like I just got it, but at the beginning of 2022, I passed the SHRM SCP exam. And I can tell you all about that in a moment. I love being the director of membership. My background is actually in organizational development. So I did a lot of consulting for organizations as large as Fortune 500 to small nonprofits, doing strategic planning, organizational structure studies, corporate culture studies, organizational assessments. And so from there, I really wanted to go into internal HR, but ended up in the nonprofit world, working at the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles, doing membership. And that was more of a partnership building sort of position. And but it was partnership building to grow one of the largest leadership development programs in the world, Girl Scouts. And I worked in the lower income quartiles, mostly Spanish speaking quartiles of Southern California. And that's where my boss, who I'll introduce to you in a second, Rafael Rivera, found me on LinkedIn because of my volunteer work and my work in the community. So PIHRA is a great marriage of my work in the nonprofit membership area and my HR development background. So I can't say how much and what a gift working with PIHRA has been. I was a PIHRA member before I ever dreamed of being on staff. So that's just kind of a little bit about me. And I'll get into a little bit about the SHRM SCP in a little bit, and HR certification, because you're interested in that, and I would love to help you with that. But next, let me introduce Elisette Sapian. Elisette, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yes, Lily, thank you. I am Elisette Sapian. I'm the membership coordinator here at PIHRA. I just hit my 6-year mark a few weeks ago, I think, which is awesome. I always say this, but I think for me, it feels like the beginning of the pandemic, 2020, 2021, and even 2022 have gone by so fast. And I'm like, wow, it's been 6 years already. Lily has really hyped up how dedicated she is, and I can testify that she is, and we are a great team. Lily and I work closely together, and we work with a great staff here at PIHRA, and I'm usually the first person that you get to speak to if you dial my number. So if you have any questions about membership after the webinar, or even moving forward with your membership, feel free to call us, and we're very accessible via email or phone number. So I'll be also monitoring the chat box if you have any questions, and pausing from time to time so that we can address them. So thank you, Lily.
Great. Thank you, Elisette. Elisette is, if you can't get a hold of me, you can get a hold of Elisette. We work in tandem. It is my expectation for my team that we respond to emails and calls within 24 hours in a working day. I'm really good with email. You have my email here, a membership@pihra.org. That gets to me immediately, and Elisette as well. So please reach out. Another important person on the membership team is Matt Pallitz. He's the chair of the membership committee. So he sits on the board and works with all of our chapter chairs. Also very accessible. And he's one of the connectors in my community. So he's a broker, and there's most of our members are HR practitioners. Right around 6% are what I call service providers. So Matt is actually a service provider. Don't get scared about them. They are most of the service providers on our volunteer leadership team. They're connectors. They're here to learn, and they've been learning. Some of them have HR certifications. They want to know what your pain points are. And they, what I love, and Patrick, you could probably, who I'm going to introduce in a second, they know when that next great HR director job is opening because they have all the inside scoop. They are paid to network with HR directors, work with them, make sure that they get what they need. So Matt is a great resource. And so next, let me introduce you to Patrick. Patrick, do you want to unmute and introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Lily. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome to PIHRA. My name is Patrick Guthrie. As you can see here on the slide, I'm a vice president at Bolton. And so what that means to you, similar to Matthew on the previous slide, I'm an employee benefits broker. So I work with mostly HR, but also financial professionals to offer and to provide a benefits package to employers. So I'm the middleman between the Kaisers, United Healthcare, Blue Shield, Anthem, Guardian, MetLife, and employers anywhere from about 50 to 1,000 employees. And so, my background is in cost. I used to be an accountant, studied accounting for 4 years. And what really, my passion within benefits, what really gets me going is providing a benefits package for my clients that also keep an eye on costs, right? During COVID, even going into this recession, if you will, we'll see if it is, hopefully it's not, but what we're going into, really narrowing down alternative funding or certain strategies for my clients. I love that. I geek out on that. Also wellness, technology, you name it. But yeah, no, thanks, Lily. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and more importantly, you're the chair of PIHRA West LA.
Yes, exactly. So relatively new to this year, January of 2022. Previously, I was the programs chair at West LA, but yeah, for about 5 years now, I've been involved with PIHRA. It's been fun. It's been difficult with the pandemic. I will say prior to the pandemic, I know Illicet, you hit it on the head. I feel like the 2020, 2021, and even this year has gone by so fast. But I took the role last year as a programs chair to obviously, one, get more involved, but two, try to get West LA to where it was prior to the pandemic. And so yeah, it's been a fun ride. I've got a great board, great staff underneath me, and we're having some fun and trying to get people more engaged and trying to get in person as much as we can.
Well, Patrick, I won't hold the accounting background against you, but really excited to have you as my guest today. And we're going to talk about, some people ask about networking. And so this is where I talk about volunteering, volunteer leadership. I want to hear about, I saw in your bio that you are on the LaSalle. Did you go to the LaSalle?
LaSalle, yeah.
LaSalle, sorry, I always mispronounce that. So I want to hear about your volunteers in there. That is a great when prep school that I can't pronounce, but I've heard about it for a long time. And so when I talk about volunteering, and for me, volunteering is networking on steroids. I mean, that's how people really get to know you. So when we start talking about volunteering and networking, I'd love for you to chime in about, I think you're also on the alumni, involved in your alumni for your university as well. So, and so was I. I'm a Bruin for life, and I did some work with the Alumni Association. So don't hesitate to chime in. And all of you who are out there, don't hesitate to ask Patrick questions about networking and, how does volunteering fit in there? And I'm going to be talking about it as well. But let's
and I think real quick, I love what you said about a connector, and I feel like that's me, and I love that more than anything. I love being in PIHRA, networking as one, grown and allowed me to grow professionally and personally. I used to be in high school, used to be very introverted, didn't like to speak in front of the class, but now networking, getting to know myself, how to brand myself, connecting the dots. I love introducing people and making solutions happen. So, right, Lily, you mentioned the connector earlier. I love that. That's great.
And that's a fact. When I go, I have 2 home PIHRA chapters, PIHRA Los Angeles, but my initial chapter was PIHRA Long Beach. And every time I go to a PIHRA Long Beach meeting, there is someone there saying, hey, I heard about these open positions in downtown LA or, downtown Long Beach. Let me know if you're interested and I'll connect you. And they're always a service provider. So, I was like always telling my friends, now I'm currently not looking for something, but if I always have PIHRA members telling me, hey, I'm looking for something, I'm in between something, or I got to get out of this situation I'm in. So yes, the Patricks of the world are connectors. So are other HR people, but just don't shy away. So I'm going to give many of you asked about the PIHRA-SHRM connection. So I'm going to kind of breeze through this, but talk a little bit about that connection here. This is our mission statement. We exist to engage, elevate, and serve the HR community in California. We do that through innovative programming, now webinars, hybrid. Let me tell you, doing hybrid isn't easy. And we've done our conferences hybrid. We even do some specialty events hybrid. Our CEO, who you're going to meet in a second, he's there with me with all the audio visual equipment. We do professional development in 11 tracks. So for our conference in May, which is coming up, in particular, we focus on 11 learning tracks. They range from HR strategy to employment law to leadership and personal development to, gosh, I'm blanking, talent management. So you will find content within 11 tracks, and the high impact networking is second to none. We are the largest SHRM affiliate in the country, and I have the reports to back that up. I also think we are the largest SHRM affiliate in the world, because SHRM does have affiliates in India and China. I do think we're larger than them, but I can't verify that. We are an affiliate. So what that means is that we're a separate entity, but we are kind of like a chapter in good standing. We receive information from them. At times we pilot different programs, but we are a separate entity and a separate membership. So hopefully that gives you some information about the PIHRA-SHRM connection. PIHRA was established in 1944 by a group of personnel managers. And the original name was something like Professionals in Industrial Relations. So it was PIHRA, P-R-I-R-A, because it was all about industrial relations back then and labor relations. And so this group got together in downtown Los Angeles, actually in 1944. It's been a while. We're over 75 years old now, so we've been around. And they wanted to talk about, you know, what were the skills and the knowledge base that people in HR needed? What were the certifications that they would need? How would they share information so that they weren't just alone in their organization trying to figure it out? As an OD consultant, I've worked with many HR people, and it can be a little lonely because you're dealing with a lot of sensitive information. So you need your network. You need those people that know what you're going through. They're going to hold your confidentiality because they have to as well. But they're going to give you advice on how do they deal with that sexual harassment? How do they deal with that difficult employee? How do they deal with that CEO that didn't quite understand the legal ramifications of what he wanted to do? So this is where you're going to do that. I see something in the chat. Should I stop to answer that?
Yeah, Lisa Keller would like to know how does she have a conversation to talk about making connections and any next steps?
Sure. Thank you for the question. I know it was just to us, but it's a great question, so I'm going to answer it live. You can email me. You could connect with me on LinkedIn, and we could set some time together, because I'd love to know, what connections are you interested in? Is it HR topical connections? Is it geographic connections? And I could always introduce you to the chapter leaders in your area, and they can connect you further. So email me. You're going to get my email in the slides. Connect with Patrick on LinkedIn, connect with me and Lisette on LinkedIn, and we will do the best we can to start helping you make those connections. But I do want to emphasize, networking is about you reaching out to people, sending them information. That's why I think that volunteering is like networking on steroids, because that's when you're really interacting with people on a consistent manner. You are developing your planning skills, your leadership skills, your time management skills, your HR skills even sometimes, because you're delivering on certain things. So for example, Patrick talked about being the program chair. To be the program chair, you have to understand the different HR areas, the topics that are necessary right now in those areas, and get to know speakers in those areas. And so that really shows that you're organizing yourself, that you're building HR knowledge around what current affairs are happening, and that you're building your own network with the speakers. So it's very proactive. So networking is a very proactive, active things that you do every day. I say that specifically because I remember being in business school, and we would just go to events and shake hands and nothing would come of it because we didn't follow up, and we didn't engage. We didn't volunteer. So what I like to say, it's not who knows you, but it's not who you know. Sorry, I got that wrong. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. And volunteerism gets people to know you really well, your work ethic, how you organize yourself, and the quality of your work. So I just had to add that. That's what I learned in my career. Let me introduce you to some volunteers. Talking about volunteers and networking, Tara Fournier is a HR certified leader in HR. Right now, she's the global head of human resources for Amobi. She has been active in SHRM. She actually worked for SHRM for many years, and she's the president of the board. So you can volunteer all the way from the upper tier board level, association board level, to the chapter level. And I'll show you where our chapters are, and we can give you a better sense of what that looks like as well. I told you I was going to introduce you to my fearless leader, Rafael Rivera. He's the CEO of PIHRA. He's been with PIHRA now, I think, 10 years or 12, maybe 13 years. And I really credit him for getting us through the pandemic. And before then, rebranding our conference. We had, in 2019, we had grown our members to 4,800 members. We're right around 37 right now. And he grew the conference to one of the largest HR conferences west of the Mississippi. It was an awesome 3-day conference. And, it's all because of him. So it was a PIHRA annual conference. Now it's a California HR conference. So if you hear me talking about the California HR conference or the California employment law update, that's was rebranded because of Rafael. So he's really built a great team and got us to where we are today. Here's our member demographics. It says 4,300. We've been declining this year, so I've been reluctant to update this. But the percentages are approximately, and I know this is hard to read. I'm going to read you this infographic soon. So at 4,300 members, right around 42% of our members are at the HR manager, HR business partner, generalist level. 26% are the HR director level and above. And like I said, our service providers, our brokers, staffing folks, financial advisors, wellness coaches, that's like 5% of our membership. These numbers kind of shift a little bit from year to year, but that'll give you a sense of who your member cohort is. They represent over 2,700 organizations. I did the calculation one time, and our HR members impact more than 2.7 million people in the workforce. So it's a great responsibility here. And then just finally, 37% of our members are HR certified. There's 2 HR certification agencies. It's HRCI, which Elisa, if you could put that website on, I will talk a little bit more about HR certification in the learning portion of this event. But it's HRCI and SHRM certification. So those are the 2 main HR certification agencies. And we'll talk more about that as we go. I see something in the chat, so let me pause. Oh, great. It's Elisa. Thank you, Elisa. Here's our footprint. So we have 17 chapters. That's a lot. It's actually a lot. Hopefully you can see this map very well. We go as far east as Coachella Valley. That PIHRA Coachella Valley meets out of Desert Hot Springs. We go as far north as Antelope Valley. They meet out at Lancaster when they meet. Santa Clarita meets out of Newhall, I believe. Ventura County, they started meeting out of Camarillo. We go as far west as PIHRA West LA. So that's Patrick, and I'm going to allow you to talk a little bit more about what's going on at PIHRA going on at PIHRA West LA. They've been doing a lot of socials lately. Tomorrow they have, not tomorrow, sorry, next Wednesday. Tomorrow's Friday, sorry.
And all good, all good.
Next Wednesday, we're going to be in Westwood, right, Patrick?
Yep, correct. Yeah, we're going to be at Broxton Brewery. So Westwood, right next to UCLA, Lily's alma mater. And yeah, I mean, we're trying to, social wise, it's very easy to find a restaurant or a location to have, folks either after work or, in the late hour, come and just hang out, have a drink, have some food and mingle a little bit. We're trying to work on our programs to get in person. We've been doing them more virtually just because of the fact that the two locations we used to have in person programs, meaning educational speakers come in and speak, they're no longer having outside, people coming to their office. So that's been a battle, but we're working through it, and we have a lot of different options. We're flipping over every rock that we can. One of the socials that we did this year was actually 50-50. So for the first hour, 45 minutes to an hour, it was more educational, networking, how to brand yourself. We had a career coach there. And the last hour or so was, have a glass of wine, have a beer, and just kind of network and get to know your peers. So we're trying to get creative. And yeah, like Lily said, our next one is December 14th, next Friday, or excuse me, geez, I'm with you now, Lily. Next Wednesday. It's next Wednesday at Broxton Brewery, and it's a holiday party plus a fundraiser. So one of our members, Haley, she has a nonprofit within her family, and so we're raising clothes for the less fortunate and homeless, and then also any financial donations as well. So we're raising money for a good cause while also having some fun and celebrating the holidays.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Yeah, and we also go down to Temecula Valley in PIHRA South OC, just to give you a sense of their different sizes. Each chapter has its own culture. Some are larger, so South OC is our largest chapter. At one point in 2019, they had over 700 members. And if you went to a chapter meeting, you could meet up to 100 different folks at the meeting. Our second largest is downtown LA, PIHRA Los Angeles. That was our founding chapter. They also have had difficulty finding a venue, Patrick, that's affordable, because a lot of, because the hospitality industry was hit so bad in the pandemic, a lot of prices increased, or there was more restrictions. So they've been doing more socials, and they had less people at their meetings. They used to meet at the City Club, which was very nice, but they would have like 30 to 50 people at their monthly meetings. Our third largest is North OC. They've been actually really consistent. They found some affordable venues and meals, and so and Burbank Glendale has also been really consistent lately with their programming, and so when we talk about a monthly meeting versus a social, Patrick gave you an example of a social. A monthly meeting is usually either in the morning or for breakfast, or for lunch. There is a meal component, a networking component, and a professional development component. The professional development is usually approved for recertification credit through HRCI and SHRM. There is a cost, as we've been saying, because we got to pay for the food, we got to pay for the venue. So usually we get our speakers who are really great, typically great speakers on the circuit. They do it pro bono for us. So we're not charging for the speaker necessarily, but we are charging for the venue. So you have your membership that comes with some benefits, which we'll talk about in a moment, but the chapter meetings are an additional cost. I see something in the chat, so I'm gonna pause for.
Yeah, Lisa's looking to see if there's any in-person activities in the IE. And I think, yeah, Lisa, Lily, I'm sure you'll answer this. I think it depends on each chapter is different, but I'm sure they've got something in the works. I don't know, Lily, if you know anything more.
Yeah, so PIHRA Riverside has been meeting. That's Inland Empire. They don't have anything coming up, but I know I just spoke to a couple of the leaders this last weekend, and they're planning their calendar for 2023. PIHRA Inland Valley has had that challenge of finding a venue. And they actually also, and we've had some volunteer leadership transition. So they have a new team coming up. And PIHRA Inland Valley, they meet usually out of Pomona. I think they started meeting at a Rancho Cucamonga and Claremont recently. So they're planning their year for 2023. But those are the two, I believe, in the Inland Empire that I can introduce you to. And unfortunately, I know they're planning on meeting, but I don't know about their upcoming meetings right now. So hopefully that answers. Did I answer everybody's question? Oh, great. Alex, I'm so glad you're here with us. Really appreciate you being here and getting re-engaged. PIHRA Foundation, I want to let you all know about the PIHRA Foundation. They are a separate entity. They raise funds. They're a 501c3, so a charitable contributions organization, and they raise funds to offer scholarships, HR-specific scholarships, and you do not have to be a PIHRA member. So if you are getting your degree, or they have two scholarships right now, either HR education one, so if you're getting your degree, or if you want to get certified, they function a little uniquely. So please visit the PIHRA.org/foundation to get more information, but their deadline is December 18th. That's coming up in 10 days. So I've been trying to spread the word on social media. If you're not interested in the scholarship, please let someone on your team know about it, or someone that you're mentoring, because I think you can get up to $3,000 for the HR education scholarship, and I think it's $500 to help you repay the HR certification exam fee, which is always really helpful. So many thanks to the PIHRA Foundation. They've been around for 30 years, actually 31 years now. We also have a specialty group, Emerging Leaders. We're looking for some leaders in this area. So if you're interested, let me know, and I could pass your name on to the PIHRA board. But this group exists to engage, equip, and encourage emerging leaders in HR. So those people who are early entrants, making a job transition perhaps, and who are actively interested in connecting with other HR early entrants. And I know I'm really focused on, we're doing a speed networking events and speed mentoring events with our student chapters and our emerging leaders, and combining those groups together. So again, we have 17 chapters and 3 specialty groups. The one specialty group I don't have a slide for is PIHRA North San Diego. During the pandemic, they kind of went a little dark because there was just a lot of uncertainty at that time, but they do exist. And I really don't know if they're going to be reactivated anytime soon, but that's the other specialty group that we have. I'm going to pause a second to look at the chat. Oh, great. Yeah, the PIHRA calendar is going to be the best place to look for all the upcoming events. In North Orange County, which I don't really consider IE, is that considered the IE? But it might be close by. They are very consistent, and they have a great group. So Lisa, please let me know if I can introduce you to the board at North Orange County. They're a fantastic group, and they've been meeting really consistently. They just usually during December, our chapters have a social, so a holiday social, and they just had theirs last week, I believe. So but I would be delighted to do an email introduction for you. And I don't think it's off the 57. So I think that would be, they usually meet out at Anaheim Hills. But just so you know, so PIHRA benefits. I calculated that our benefits have a value of $4,900. And so for $175, we did increase our membership price this year. You get almost $5,000 worth of value. I think building your HR Board of Advisors is kind of priceless. I can't put a number to that, but this is where I know some of our members, our longtime members, have met their best friends. They've met their HR Fab Five, and basically, the HR friends that they have on their speed dial in case something goes sideways at work, they can call them. You might want to call Patrick because your current benefits aren't working out the way you wanted. He can advise you on, some suggestions on how. I know just recently I saw on LinkedIn, one of our HR directors was getting emails from employees saying that they didn't know open enrollment had a deadline, so, Patrick can help you figure out like how to reach out a little bit better to those folks, right, Patrick?
Yeah, that's a big issue. But no, yeah, exactly. Use your network. I was just going to say, in terms of HR professionals, sometimes you go through issues that are specific to HR, and at work you have no one to talk to about it. But when you join with PIHRA, you have HR people that you can speak. Maybe not share everything that's going on internally at your company, but bounce ideas off each other, learn best practices, take them back to your employer, and implement those and see how they work for you. But yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of other service providers like myself, payroll, 401k, lawyers, you name it. There's a lot of people in the PIHRA network that are all, I've never met someone that wasn't willing to help. They're all willing to help, and lend a hand. So always happy to help.
Yeah. With PIHRA membership, you're going to build your expertise and your mastery in HR subject matter. And this is how you increase your earning power. This is where you're going to get discounts on HR certification prep, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. HR conferences. Don't wait. I know I used to do this. I would wait every couple of years when, I think I might need to learn something new at work because I'm doing the same thing over and over again. I wait every 2 years to go to a conference or ask my supervisor to pay for a conference. Really be proactive. And this is this is a place where you can do that because we have very affordable, consistent, and actionable professional development happening all year round. You're going to save time and money with the PIHRA Workplace, and that is an online award-winning compliance center. And we've just expanded the benefits that you get with that. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. In the Workplace, this is powered by Mineral. You get a compliance center. This compliance center, you have to log in. It's a partner platform. So it can be a little tricky getting on there. Don't get frustrated. Just email me and Elisette. We can get you on there pretty quickly. They have a smart handbook builder. Smart meaning that if some law changes, it'll alert you that you need to update your handbook. It has a job description builder. It has a salary comparison tool. It has hundreds of different policy templates and forms that you can use. It has employment law summaries. It has so much on there. It will take you all day to go in there and figure it out. But the greatest thing, I think, there's a couple of great things. PIHRA Live is also included. It is your own personal HR coach. You just call this number. You can call them an unlimited amount of time between 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. and they will answer any HR question you have and follow up via email with any documentation that will help. Now, they're not attorneys, so I wouldn't substitute them for actually counsel advice, because sometimes you need counsel advice, good counsel advice. Go to our California Employment Law Update to meet a lot of great employment law attorneys, or go to the chapter meetings. I know PIHRA Los Angeles has a great board member who is an employment law. PIHRA Woodland Hills has someone on their board. Anyway, but just the PIHRA Live itself would cost you $1,200 on your own if you were to purchase that on your own. We also have, I'm going to invite you to this webinar. It's happening next Friday. This is on a Friday. Next Friday, we are expanding PIHRA Learn. Some of you may not remember PIHRA Learn, but it is an enterprise learning management system that was included in the membership a couple years back, and then it got price prohibited. Well, they helped us add it back on. So you can train your employees through this system. You can create learning tracks. All of the core courses are included in this. If you join this webinar, it'll show you and explain to you what it is. But just so you know, the harassment courses and the safety courses are not included. They're an upcharge, but it is just a fantastic LMS. And you could even have a coach you through how to start that system off with your employees. So definitely something you want to look into in terms of the benefits. Volunteer. We wanted to, this gets connected with networking and volunteer leadership. And I want Patrick to talk about this, but I just want you to know, I got this job through volunteerism. I was a Reardon Fellow at the UCLA Anderson Graduate School of Management, and the power of volunteering was demonstrated through these experiences. I also volunteered when I was a Disney employee, and I grew so much as a leader through my volunteer work that I think it's been priceless for me. So Patrick, if you'd like to unmute and take a moment just to talk about, how volunteerism has impacted you personally and professionally.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I think I speak on behalf of everyone here, but when you volunteer, if you've ever volunteered, it just kind of makes you happy. It makes you grateful of what you either have or don't have. It's just, you go through, it depends on what type of volunteer work you're volunteering for. But yeah, like Lily said, I mean, for me, volunteering has given me more confidence. It's grown my professional career personally as well. It's allowed me to create my brand. And I always ask myself, when I'm volunteering, when I'm out in, front volunteering with others, how do I want others to convey me or convey my image and my message? And so, yeah, I think it just allows me to be more comfortable in my own skin. It allows me to meet more people, connect the dots like we're talking about earlier, but also in terms of, my career, I majority of my clientele, like I mentioned earlier, is HR. And so a lot of PIHRA is focused on HR events, hot items in HR. And so it's allowed me to become more well-rounded professionally, to understand what my clients are going through, what needs that they need, solutions that they have. And so I connect the dots for my clients. And then, like Lily said, also in terms of open positions for either my fellow board members or members of my chapter or other chapters for that matter, my clients and other service members, they're always looking for new opportunities, new roles, or they're looking to fill opportunities and roles. So again, being that connector and kind of connecting the dots there. But no, it's been a great experience. I think even the smallest amount of volunteering goes a long way. And being the chair of West LA has been fun. It's allowed me to get to know more members of PIHRA, of my board as well, and surround myself with. I mean, I'm only as good as my board members. They're excellent. They really do all the groundwork, and yeah, we have a good time at the same time as well. So it's been fun.
Yeah, there's statistics. If you're in transition, I highly recommend volunteering, even if it's just to help put on a social, or practice your presentation skills by doing some sort of networking intro for our chapters. That's how I got involved in PIHRA. But there's a statistic out of the Bureau of Labor Statistics that 70 to 80% of the people who find their job find it through their network. And so you really have to, that's why I emphasize, don't just volunteer, be a volunteer leader, take on a consistent position, because that's how people really get to know you. They know, like Patrick was saying, they get to know who you are, your brand, your work ethic, the quality of who you are. And that's when they're going to say, oh, I remember Lisa, she might be really good for this position. I'm telling you, that's how it happens in the real world. You still probably have to fill out the online job application, but that's just how it works. So let's talk about learning and networking. I've been talking about networking a lot. So if you have any other questions about networking, let me know. We exist to provide our members and the HR community at large with various types of learning opportunities, webinars, hybrid meetings, chapter meetings, conferences like the California HR Conference, California Employment Law Conference. We have specialty programs like Real HR Talent and Tech, and Strategic Leader. Our members get a discount. So you get at least $15 off of any chapter meeting. And you also get discounts on the California HR Conference. In 2023, all of our webinars are free for members. That's at least $300 to $350 of value. And so, just there, it's worth it, because you also, I think we have it recorded. I know definitely in 2023, you'll get access to recording. So if you can't make it in your pajamas during lunch, because you're not remote, you can just see the recording later. We just did the California Employment Law Update in October. A lot of our chapters are going to continue to do law updates because that's so important for our HR practitioners. But you can purchase what was done in October on demand. So that's now available if you're interested in that. I think that's around $99 for members and $149 for non-members. Now, a lot of you, or well, a great percentage of you today have asked about HR certification. So our HR certification prep courses for 2022, they're all in motion. So there's no HR certification prep courses starting in December, but we have some more that we're planning for spring 2023. And I'd love to hear if you have any specific questions about HR certification, but I'm going to spend like 2-3 minutes right now talking to you. Unfortunately, because we don't have any prep courses on the calendar now, I don't have a slide here, but I know it could be a very kind of mystifying process. For HRCI and SHRM, there is an application process. So you pay to apply to take the exam. Then you want to prepare. Some of you may be great test takers. Patrick, I don't know if you're a great test taker. I am a horrible test taker. Okay, you're not good.
I'm absolutely horrible.
I'm horrible. You know who's really good? Robert Hawks. He is the chair of PIHRA Los Angeles. He studied for 3 months and passed the SHRM SCP. The SHRM SCP exam has a 50% pass rate. I studied 150 hours for that exam. Yes, during the pandemic. So it was really convenient because I was home anyway. But I kid you not, we have one of the best SPHR, PHR, and SHRM SCP, CP instructors in the world. His name is Richard Dawson. He teaches you how to think like the test maker. He is very honest. But he was honest enough to tell me, if you do not read all the material and you do not do all the flashcards and you do not do all the quizzes online, you may not pass. He didn't pass the first time. And he's really funny. He's like, it hurt my feelings. I know I would have been devastated if I hadn't passed, because my boss was watching, and he helped me, he paid for it, right? So I passed on the first time. But I passed because I studied for a lot. I made my own study groups. I read every single piece of material in the SHRM learning system. I recommend the SHRM learning system. I keep the books as reference material. But the HRCI, which is a separate entity, the HRCI certifications are the SPHR and the PHR, and they have the APHR. They have more, well, SHRM has additional ones too, but HRCI has been on the market longer. They were actually created by SHRM. That's a good certification as well. So, I really don't have an opinion about either one, except for my experience was that the SHRM certification was right for me. It tested competencies, in my opinion. So there's more situational questions. Whereas I hear that the SPHR and PHR, there's a lot more kind of writer that's black or white. So you kind of really have to memorize the answer in those. But that's just my opinion. If you're interested in HR certification, speak to as many HR certified people as possible, because everyone has a different opinion. So that's my 2 minutes on HR certification. I do see something in the chat. So Thank you, Elisette. So if you have any questions about HR certification, we'll also include this in the follow-up email, but visit PIHRA.org/HR certification. They have updates on our 2023 prep classes. And so I see there's a question about join the wait list. That might be for HR certification class. We could probably help you. Is that right, Elisette? Maybe the wait list for HR cert class?
Yeah, I think what's coming up for me is the email for programs. So after I click on add me to your waiting notification list, it takes you to email our programs department. So I think that's
Right.
how you get to be enrolled. So just email them and then just let them know that you're interested in that course.
Yeah, so I don't recommend joining these courses late. I really don't. You're not going to get what you want for your money. I take the entire course, but if you do email programs@PIHRA.org, they can tell you when the next course is up on the calendar. But you do you. If you think you're gonna do well and you can study on your own, but the classes go fast. The prep class is not enough, everybody. At least it wasn't for me. So we have 5 minutes left. This screen is, I want you to make a goal for yourself. If you haven't gone to any PIHRA meetings and you're interested in networking, you're interested in HR certification, and you're interested in finding out more about the benefits and learning from other members, go to one of these events. I have social anxiety big time. So I get it, but I make a goal for myself to at least once a quarter, I call an old college mate, or I call a former colleague to go out to dinner, or I'm going to Patrick's event next. So meet us there. We're going to be there next Wednesday in Westwood. So if you want someone to meet you, email me. I'll be there. Patrick will be there. But make a goal for yourself that maybe not in December because it's busy, but if you can finish off the year strong, go to one of these events. If not, go to an event next quarter, just one event per quarter. It doesn't have to be a PIHRA event, but get out there. It's hard to do things on your own, and that's why we're here. I would love for you to become a PIHRA member. If you're not a member, but I just want you to belong to a community. What the pandemic has taught us is that we need each other. We need people. Isolating is very dangerous. I mean, at least it was for me. Nowadays, I was working from home, and 3 days a week, I go to a shared workspace because I just need people around, So yes, PIHRA is a membership community, but if it's not your community, I understand. Go to a lot of chapter meetings because maybe PIHRA West LA is not for you. I'm sorry, Patrick. I think they're a great group, but maybe you prefer PIHRA North OC. That's your group. People do business with people they like. So find the people you like. Find your tribe. I don't, if you're my age, I'm a Gen Xer or a little older, that too, we may not fit everywhere, but I promise you there will be a community in PIHRA Los Angeles, PIHRA Southern California that will welcome you. You might just have to find it. And if PIHRA is not the place for you, find another organization. There's HRMA in Los Angeles, there's HRMA in Orange County, there's Chamber of Commerce, but just get out there, or do all of them because it is important to be involved everywhere. So yeah, anything you want to add here, Patrick, about going to an event or?
No, I mean, no, I think just have fun with it. I know sometimes it may be intimidating to go by yourself, but there's many others that are going by themselves. And again, everyone's going for the same reason. Just network, kind of meeting people, see other faces if you've been there before, and just have a good time. You can stay for 30 minutes, an hour. It doesn't have to be the whole 2 hours or 3 hour time slot. Go check it out, and if it's not for you, all good, no harm, no foul. But I think you'll enjoy whatever event it is, even if it's a webinar. If it's a webinar first, meet people there, and then even set up some coffees if you're into that, or lunches with those people on the webinar, or people you meet in person. I think everyone is friendly and everyone's going to be involved for the same reason you are.
Right. And if you have that anxiety like I do, email me. I could either introduce you to someone. Usually the chapters are really good at welcoming new people. So have fun with it. And you'll be fine. Set a goal for yourself to do something like this. It really pays off in the end. You can also connect with us virtually. We're on LinkedIn. We have a very active group on LinkedIn. We're on Twitter, not as active. Facebook, we're trying to get more active on Instagram. And we also have a PIHRA forum where people post questions and respond. I'm actually right now in conversations to build out another sort of engagement platform where people will be able to interact. Anyway, my name is Lily Arguello. Thank you for joining us in this hour. I hope you got the information you needed. If not, you're going to get an email from me and Elisette. You could always reach back out. Have a fantastic rest of your Thursday and a great holiday, everybody. I don't know if you saw my ugly sweater, but we're elf fans. But thank you so much. I'm going to stick around for a little bit longer, but the meeting and webinar is adjourned. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Elisette.
Thank you all. Appreciate it, Lily. Thanks, Elisette. Bye-bye. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.